I need a
Good thing you have an
clicker.
adapter.
There were clickers.
And you need to turn these on? Ah.
It's nice though with that TV there because now you don't have to strain your neck.
You get to watch a movie while we wait. It's really bizarre.
Oh my God, I've been binge watching. I watched The White Lotus, which was really
Some of that,
interesting.
it's kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, it kind of
sucking
sucks you in. Yeah, I never got further.
Saw one scene, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was really
The lo-
like-
what is-
She said she got into binging the White Lotus.
Never heard of it. I don't know what it
Big
is.
show. I saw one scene from it, and I saw one scene from it, and people were like, "What is this shit?"
I know, it's kind of crazy. I miss Ted Lasso.
I've never seen that either. I heard that's really
You would
good.
love that.
He's a
You
soccer
would
coach.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've watched it twice now.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of
So
people
much we
recommend
liked
it to me.
Yeah, it's just really, and I'm not a big soccer fan, but I got sucked into it so much. I was
Really?
like, Ted Lasso. See, yeah, yeah.
His attitude.
He's like folksy and like, yeah. He comes across in the beginning as kind of a dumb guy.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, this guy knows everything that's going on. And, yeah, I loved it.
That is cute. Yeah, okay, that's on my bucket list.
Gotta watch
Who?
it.
What is it? Netflix?
Apple.
Oh, I don't have
and,
Apple.
We actually haven't created it yet.
It might be on YouTube at this point. Somebody has put it on.
Or YouTube has shows for sale. You can buy it on YouTube. You can own it on YouTube.
Oh,
I have YouTube TV. Maybe you can buy that way. What do you think?
I think we're gonna hold up the meeting for Paul turn out though.
You have handouts though, right?
I do.
Yeah,
It would
okay,
just
so
be
we can
nice
fly
to be
with
able to
those.
put it up there, but
All right, and I'm going to assume.
I don't need it till like the middle of the meeting.
All right, I'm gonna assume we're gonna start at 7:01 with the five of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. No, and I haven't heard from others, so I guess we could start it. No idea.
Clearly not Troy.
Are we recording okay? We're going? Are we live? Okay, you have that on everybody's screen, okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the September 9th, 2025 regular Board of Education meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. If you would please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Flag's getting closer each time. Thank you. We'll start with roll call.
Jonathan Moore.
Jeanette Broder.
Sandra Strubar.
Nora McCarsky.
Julie Movie.
Kurt Warner.
Okay. And to note, Shane Centrella, Tori Levetri, Allison Pierce, and Renee are not here this evening. Okay. Item 2, approval of the agenda. Do you have anything to add or rearrange? Okay, seeing none. Item 3, student showcase.
So, some of what you'll hear throughout the meeting tonight has to do with some of our initiatives for the school year, one of which has been sort of on the larger umbrella of positive behavior supports. And within that, one of the things that we've been working on is morning meeting. A group of teachers worked this summer, I told you at the last meeting about Splash, and this was a strategy that they selected as a way that could have very positive impact on school climate. So I'm gonna ask Renee to organize for us, but we have a couple of kids, and I think we're actually going to participate in a morning meeting. It's not morning, so you'll have to indulge me on time of day, but there's no better way to enjoy something than through, he's all just looking at me like, I'm gonna kill you.
I'm happy to.
No, this should be a lot of fun. So we have a couple of
Participate.
3 students that are gonna work with us. Yes, we'll definitely, do me a favor, Renee, hit that mic as well. And whatever they need us to do, we'll
On the
just
side.
jump in and participate.
All right.
And definitely let's
Okay.
introduce our students
Yes,
and
we're
take it
gonna
away.
start by introducing ourselves.
My name's Faith.
And what grade are you in, Faith?
Fifth. My name is Lila and I'm in 5th grade. My name is Aiden and I'm in 4th grade.
All right. So I will be explaining a little bit around why we're doing what we're doing, but they're really taking the lead, and we love participation. And if there are any other kids in the audience that want to join, you're welcome to join our evening meeting as well. Okay, Lila, take it away.
So this first game is called Cheers, and if everyone could come over.
Or you can stand, we're just gonna make
A
a circle.
Okay.
So,
So how this game works, we have to put our thumbs up, and basically what we're gonna be doing is we
say good evening.
we say good evening, and then their name, and then you say one of the 4 words there. You say like I would say, good evening, Faith, you rock, and then she would put her hands up and do that, and then she would say it to someone else.
Okay. And to be fair, because we may not know each other's names, what do?
We ask whoever we're saying, we ask what their name is, and then we'll continue.
Okay, you got it?
Okay.
All right, thumbs up. Go ahead, start us off, Lila.
Good evening, Aiden. You rock.
Good evening. Good evening, Faith. We believe in you.
Yeah, we got name tags.
What is your name?
John.
Good afternoon, John. We believe in you.
Good evening, Faith. You rock.
Okay, now you would choose someone else.
Good evening, Jeanette. You got this.
Good evening, Sandra. We believe in you.
Thank you. Good evening, Kurt. You got this.
Good evening, Nora. You rock.
Good evening, Dr. Luby, we believe in you.
Good evening, Renee, you got this.
All right, and good evening, Lila.
Right?
Yeah.
You rocked this activity.
All right.
Yay, nice job. So this is what we call a greeting. It's the first part. There are 4 parts to a morning meeting. The greeting helps people learn each other's names, particularly in the classroom. We even have, when other teachers are coming in and pushing into the classroom, they'll join in morning meeting. It also helps them with social skills. For example, when you don't know someone's name, how to politely ask, and learn their names. And this one, Cheers, is especially good for having that positive feeling in the morning, like you got this, you could do the day. And just, you could do this even from academics. So if they're taking a test that day or having to do something really difficult, the cheer is something right away that makes everyone feel positive. So, nice job. And Lila actually has the second one, which is going to be the share.
So for share, we're going to be playing like 4 corners, but a different version of it is basically like a get to know you game. So in each corner, there's going to be a big topic in each corner. There's going to be something, and then when if you like hear something you like, you go to that corner and you talk with the people around you, like why you like it. So our first topic is sports. So
You can just, we'll make an imaginary corner over
Okay.
here, okay?
okay. So corner number 1 for sports is going to be soccer. Then over there is going to be the basketball. Over there is tennis, and over there is baseball. So
Go ahead and move to your corner.
I think
The one
everybody
you like the
should,
best?
I think everybody should play this game.
Right.
Which one is this? No, I'm serious.
Tennis is there.
Oh, all right. Which one is animals?
What?
So, no, it's
just
sports.
Oh, sports.
Oh,
So,
so if you like sports, you have to go there?
Well, it's particular sports. Soccer, basketball, tennis, baseball.
Come on, guys.
you're in between. Oh, she's got, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay,
So why do you like soccer? Oh, you like to score goals? So do you play like forward or do you play offense? Very cool. What's the name of, do you have like names of your teams or do you have colors? Oh, you used to play soccer? Do you remember when you were on a team, like, did you have like a color that you were? Like, oh, gray team? Ooh, very cool. I like soccer too. Very cool.
Okay, I'm gonna bring everybody back to the center. And Lila, you're gonna do the second category.
so our second category is food, and in each of our corners, over there is ice cream. The second corner is pizza.
Ooh.
The third corner is hamburgers.
Is what?
Hamburgers or cheeseburgers, and then our last, the corner 4 is salads.
Is what?
Salads.
I like them all.
Ice cream, ice cream. Love them both.
I like all four.
I don't know.
Some chocolate, some caramel, some fun.
The only one that's not the salad. Listen, you put them both in front of me, I'm not choosing them eating at all.
No more salad. More salad.
Yeah. What kind of toppings?
Yes.
Okay, let's all come back to the center. We're gonna do one more. Go ahead, Lila.
So our last one is about animals. So corner 1 is dogs, corner 2 is cats, corner 3 is fish, and the last corner is birds.
I feel like I need to go in the middle. Can I stand in the middle here? They're like cats and dogs.
I'm in the middle.
Yeah, I'm like that too. I'm torn.
Because I've owned both a cat and a dog.
We have 2 cats and a dog. No, that's good later.
I eat it every day, I don't love it though.
It's never gonna be that bad. Have you ever had salad pizza though? Yes. That's my girl, that's my favorite.
We had a big
circle though, we don't need to be in the center. So if we just come back together and get in a circle.
We're going back in the middle?
Yeah, in a circle. And let's give Lila a round of applause. Okay, now Faith is going to lead us in our activity. So Faith, tell us a little bit about the activity.
So our activity is called Hands Up for 23. So we raise our hands and I'm gonna say a name to start it off. So, and then I'm gonna say, for example, like food. Okay.
So you want to be thinking about various foods, right? And the goal is to get up to 23. Okay, so we're gonna go wherever she says starts. And Aiden, I see you're doing something smart right now. He's counting. How many people we have, Aiden? 15. So it might come around twice, so think about your food. Okay? We ready, Faith?
But those are the rules, right?
Well, we're gonna actually clap them. So hands are up, and then as we say each, you can follow along with us, right? Faith? Okay. Go ahead, start us off. Gonna name some foods. Gonna please, no repeats. No hesitation, no implication. Starting with
Apples.
Sushi. Tuna.
Bananas.
Ramen.
Pizza.
Steak.
Bananas.
Tacos.
Pot roast. Beef Wellington.
Ice cream.
Peppers.
asparagus.
Ew.
Guava.
Pancakes.
Caramel.
French fries.
Pickles.
Waffles.
Pop-Tarts?
French toast.
Hamburgers.
Salad. Aki bowls.
Oatmeal.
Broccoli.
All right, and we did get to 23. And a round of applause for Faith. And you can have your seat for our last one. You stay up here with me.
Yeah, exactly.
So just 1 minute, I want to introduce this part of it. All right, so our last part of morning meeting always ends with a morning message for everyone in the class that the teacher usually writes. So Aiden's going to be our teacher today and is going to share the morning message or the evening message for all of you.
Dear BOE members, today is Tuesday. You learned all about why we love morning meetings. We hope you enjoy your meeting. Love, Pearson students.
All right.
Thank you.
And we are fully prepared to tell you a little bit about why we love morning meetings, what we're learning from morning meetings, and even how in the short time in school this has really impacted them in really positive ways. So who would like to share something with the board, or perhaps you have questions for them? I think they want questions.
What do you like best about morning meetings?
Probably that you get to like switch off learning, and then you get to learn about each other and have fun and power up your brain for the day.
I like about morning meeting about Four Corners because we learn about each other and we make some new friends. I like morning meeting because it's fun and it gets us excited about our day.
Right? That's fantastic.
Great.
Charging up.
All right, and we have one last thing that Faith, there's your posters. So they were so excited about coming to the board that Faith took this very seriously. She went home and created this last night, so I needed to have her have an opportunity to share. So what would you like to tell the board about what you've made?
So I made a rainbow because all the teachers, students, specials, and all the other staff need to work together. and all the other colors of a rainbow needs work together to make a rainbow. And it's kind of like a school working together to keep it going.
Mary?
And I made this for morning meeting and for being respectful, responsible, and safe.
That's great. That's great.
All right, and a huge round of applause.
That'd be great if you could leave that so we can read it later. It'd be great.
We can bring it back to school.
Sure.
Faith, Lila, Aiden, thank you. That was phenomenal, and thank you, Ms. St. Hilaire, as well. That really gives us all an opportunity to experience. This is like the first 15, well, not like, it is the first 15 minutes of every day. It's scheduled. The kids come in, they get their breakfast quick, they get to their homerooms, and they do this for the first 15 minutes, sets the tone. We anticipated having a positive impact on on-time arrival, as well as attendance, as well as school climate, as well as achievement, because kids who are feeling safe, welcomed, greeted, happy to be at school are going to learn more. So we think it's a win on every front, and I'm so impressed with our teachers for wanting to do this, doing the research, participating in it. They led the professional development on it and just hit the ground running on the first day of school. We're only, what are we, 12 days in or something?
Right.
I mean, how amazing is that these kids are here tonight? And literally, I think we've been in school, could it even be 12 days? I'm not counting, but 4, 5, 6, 8 maybe?
Yeah.
That's great. And kudos to the kids because it's scary to be up there. To lead adults too. That's really scary. Thank you. Okay, very good. We'll move on then. Item number 4, public comment. Winchester Board of Ed welcomes you to its business meeting. There are 2 opportunities aside to hear comments from the public. We welcome and encourage public participation as a valued part of communicating input with the Winchester Board of Education. We appreciate your adherence to the following 3. Complete the requested information on the sign-up sheet if you would wish to speak, your name, your address, as well as your email. State your name and your address when you do speak. You'll allotted 3 minutes to speak. Please be advised it's not the practice of the Board of Ed to engage in dialogue regarding commentary. The superintendent of the schools will be directed by the chairperson to prepare an appropriate response in a timely manner. Is there anyone wishing to speak? I don't see if anybody signed up. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Is there anyone wishing to speak? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to item 5, approval of the minutes. Item A, the minutes of the Board of Ed meeting August 12, 2025. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion made?
I'll second.
Okay, before you vote, I do want to just add the adjournment time on those minutes, Tiffany. August 12th, I didn't see it there, but it was 8:28 p.m. when I quickly looked, on page 9. Am I missing that?
No, there's not time.
Okay, no one sees the
Other
time.
than we came out of executive session
Right,
at 8.
so I had gone back to the
27,
video for the adjournment. So, okay, so can we add that to 8:28 p.m.
And the August 12th.
on the August 12th minutes, correct. So we have a first with Jonathan, second with Jeanette with the edit. Is that all right? Okay. All in favor? That's 5-0. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Tiff? All right, item B, minutes of the special board meeting, August 19th, 2025. Do we have a motion to accept?
Make that motion.
Okay. Sandra, needs a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Jonathan, any comments? All right. All in favor of accepting the minutes? Okay, that's 5-0. That's also unanimous. Thank you. That takes care of item A and B. Okay, item 6, communications, chairperson's comments. I would just like to put a plug out there. I do really want the public to see the Facebook posts
that the Winchester Public Schools is putting out a concerted effort to showcase the student work almost on a daily basis. And so I would plug it out to the community to go visit and follow the Facebook page. It really is exciting to watch students engaged in curriculum, in the instruction, watching what's happening inside our classrooms. I think that's really exciting. Okay, that's it. Item B, student representatives' reports. Speaking of student work, come on up.
Ricky should go first, absolutely. We're gonna start with our Hinsdale representative, Ricky Rylander. And let's just turn on the microphone. Do we have a nameplate for Ricky? I think we do, right? Oh, are they up here?
Yeah,
Here they are. They're in
okay.
front of us. Hold on, please. Very important that Ricky look official. You can keep this home when you go tonight. Okay, this is Ricky, and then when Peter and Mikhail, what's this?
No, I was explaining what that is.
So we'll put these up afterwards. Thank you, Jen.
Hello, my name is Ricky. I am in 2nd grade. Everyone is back and excited to be in school together learning. We look forward to the year ahead. I am going to share something neat that is happening at each grade level. At pre-K, everyone is happy and having fun. We are learning our daily routines, and classroom students are doing an excellent job building new relationships with friends and teachers. In kindergarten, we are learning our way around our classroom. And the school, we are also learning about ourselves, including how to know what we're feeling and how to show and tell others what we're feeling. We are also learning a lot about continuing, counting, and patterns in Number Corner. We can't wait to start learning more in the coming weekends. In the coming weeks. In grade 1, they are getting to know each other during our morning meeting. They see that they have many things in common with others. Also, they are learning class around routines, how to be kind classmates, and good listeners. First graders also are reading fables and are learning lessons from characters. In grade 2, we are learning about each other during our morning meeting. We have been practicing our classroom and school routines. We are reading fairy tales and learning about characters. We are also working on adding within 20. It is a lot of fun in grade 2. One thing I'd like to see happening at Hinsdale is for children to be safe, say sorry, and use manners.
Our names are Peter and Mikhail. We are in grade 5. We're going to tell you about what's happening in Pearson lately. All students are focused on our core values. Respectful. We listen, follow directions, act with kindness, and help others. Engaged. We learn by listening closely, sharing our ideas, and working hard. Self-regulated. We are able to be calm, making good choices, and control how we act. Third graders are studying elements of fictional stories such as theme, main characters, personification, and dialogue. In math, third grade, there is learning multiplication and addition strategies. In science, they are learning about the flood of 1955 in the Winstead. This will give them some background information about when they take a tour of Winstead this fall. This ties into the unit of weather. Fourth graders are reading fictional stories and writing personal narratives. In fifth grade, fourth graders are learning about multiplicative comparisons, reviewing basic facts, and exploring the relationships between multiplication and division. In science, fourth graders are studying the structure and function of plants and animals and making observations of various plants and bats.
Fifth graders are reading fiction and non-fiction stories. They are writing personal narratives. In math, fifth graders are writing expressions and equations using multiplication strategies to find the volume of 2 and 3-dimensional figures. In science, fifth graders are making bar graphs. We are comparing the difference in the percentage of colors of M&Ms made in different factories. Sixth graders are studying fictional text and writing personal narratives. They are adding details and dialogue and explaining small moments in their story. In math, sixth graders are learning about positive and negative numbers and applying their understanding with money, temperature, elevation. In science, they are learning about thermal energy by testing the temperatures of liquids with regular versus fancy cups. Mikhail, not really, this school is fine.
What do you think? Is there anything that you think to improve the school?
The question was anything that you think the school needs for improvement. What was your answer, Mikhail?
My answer is this school is fine.
The school is fine?
My teachers and classmates are nice. We work together, no one gets in trouble.
No, that's good.
Peter, the schedule is nice that fifth graders have special lunch, recess, then a shorter afternoon. We get the hard work done in the morning. Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome. Very good.
Great job, guys.
Do you get to eat the M&Ms when you're done?
We keep the medal, they just get the name.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Okay. Moving on, item C, superintendent's report.
Let's see. So, first of all, as perhaps you can tell based on all of the wonderful things you've seen already tonight, we have had a really tremendous opening school. Things have gone smoothly. As Nora mentioned, you can see us on Facebook. We're trying to make sure that every day there's something to make you smile and see evidence of our students loving learning. We were very excited in our opening days before the kids arrived that we have some time for professional development with the staff, and I was particularly pleased that we maintained our two very clear focus areas, high quality instruction and relationships, positive behavior supports, and the teachers ran the entire session for the positive behavior supports, and that's efficacy. When teachers own it, good things happen, so that was really exciting. As mentioned at the last meeting, our libraries have morphed a bit into innovation stations where we are weaving our love of literature into creativity and STEAM activities and all good things, and it's off and running and students are absolutely loving it. The first days, as you might imagine, have been filled really, you know, you got to put the first things first, go slow to go fast, as they say. So we have been creating community, routines, expectations, running our morning meetings, and making sure that our schools are happy, safe places. One change from last year that I'm not sure that we said out loud at any point before now, so I'm mentioning, is that our 4th grade, previously K through 3, you had one elementary teacher in a class of kids all day, and in 4, 5, 6, you had 2 teachers. One did language arts social studies, one did math science, basically. 4th grade has shifted from being splits to self-contained like the 3rd grade. We think that's going to be better for kids. They're still young, and there's that community that you create that we think will be important. So our 4th grade teachers are working doubly hard to acclimate to a content area that they may not have taught recently. We remind ourselves when you hire a 1st grade teacher, they haven't taught any of it before, so they'll be fine. We have every confidence they can do it, but it's been exciting to get people who've been thinking about just one side to now think about the whole of it, and I know people are enjoying having that group of kids all day and really forming those greater relationships. And you know I've mentioned HQI a bunch of times, and I'll just put that into other words and say to you that the way we're talking about high quality instruction, what we're really talking about is active student-centered learning, where kids are asking questions, making decisions, figuring things out. The kids are the doers in our version of the story. And one thing that I left off the report, I can't even tell you why, but that was super exciting, was we tried a new event this year, Kindergarten Mingle. We wasn't the day before school started, but sometime just before school started, we invited all of our kindergartners to Hinsdale supported by our grant that's no longer called School Readiness, it's now called Early Start. So our Early Start grant supported Kindergarten Mingle, allowed us to get the ice cream truck and have activities and t-shirts, and after doing it, it was well attended and a great success. We think next year we might actually do it as a preschool mingle or a pre-K mingle, because many of our kindergartners attend our preschool, and so the intention of it was to make kids confident and comfortable for the first day of school. What we learned is many of the kindergartners already own the place, so so we may go with a broader audience next year. But it was a great success, and a big thank you. Emily Bernard, our assistant principal at Hinsdale, was very integral in putting that together, and Rosie as well, and Renee, so it was a huge success. So I've been saying to you at a lot of previous meetings that we're in negotiations. We finally have ratified contracts for your review tonight and potentially approval for custodians and secretaries, which will be the end of last year's negotiations, and then we have all kinds of contracts. Last year we did nurses, teachers, custodians, and secretaries. Not bad for a first year. This year I think we probably have paras, lunch, and then also the bus contract, right?
Yes, but that's a bit.
Yeah, understood, but also another biggie coming up. So later in the agenda, we'll talk about the 2 that are done now. The Hinsdale, there's an S missing, embarrassing. The Hinsdale culvert has been a topic of late, noticing that it is very grown in. We were able to communicate with Silver Petroselli, who did the renovation, and get our hands on some maintenance documents of what is supposed to stay there, because there are some greens that we want in there and which things ought not to be there. And so we are hiring someone to maintain that, because it's not a little like, oh, could the custodians run out there for a half hour? It's a It's a big job, so I know Nancy has reached out to someone recommended by Jim Rollins to get a bid on what it would take to do that. It sounds like, when I met with Jim and Paul about a month ago, Jim thought it was probably like a twice-a-year cleanup, much like you would do at home, I suppose. Central office is now located in Pearson School on the 3rd floor. It is up and running. People are moved in, fully functioning or almost fully functioning. We're not entirely unpacked because it's so hard to take the time to do the things that aren't the work when you really want to be doing all the work. But you know, in the end of the day, when you're just too tired to do one more thing, we're each like putting a few things on shelves. I have some pictures that when I'm brave enough to try again to get the TVs going, I'll see if we can make that work. I did take a few pictures to show you, but I would welcome all of you to come visit. It's lovely. We're establishing a separate entrance with a doorbell so that the few visitors that we do get aren't traipsing through the school. Town Safety Committee has been revived, no pun intended, led by Chief Susi and involving fire superintendents from the other schools, safety officers from the other schools, and we're meeting again in October to work on our annual all hazards plans. So it's going to be nice to have those connections. I wanted to say thank you to the board members who attended Convocation. Convocation, I think, was a huge success. I think the teachers and full staff felt welcomed, and it was a very positive experience. And your presence there makes it even better. New Susie and I, the Gilbert superintendent, have already met a couple of different times, some on sort of the regular stuff that we want to talk about, like curriculum and collaboration, and also we've had a first contract conversation. Kurt, on behalf of the negotiating committee, asked that I meet with Mike to, almost said Greg for a second, sorry, to meet with Mike and work out a draft contract to bring back to our negotiating committees. So we're beginning that work. We've had one meeting. We'll meet again next Monday. And the other thing, Early Childhood Coalition is not a real name, but for lack of what the right name is, the Early Start funding that allowed us or required us to have a full-time person engaged with early childhood. We are the local governing partner and need to set up a community table. And so Early Childhood Coalition, I guess community table is what we could go with for a name. We just weren't sure what, local governing partner sounds awful, so we knew we didn't want to say that. It doesn't mean anything. But setting up that community table, and we'll be hiring through the grant a small part-time stipended position for 2 parent ambassadors, which is a requirement of the grant, but it puts 2 people engaged in this work with us and on the community table. So we are in the process of inviting someone from BASES and someone from Winston Area Child Care and someone from the library and someone from the YMCA to build a community table. I think we should just call it the community table. As I'm saying it, that is the name in the grant, so we'll go with that. But we're excited to be developing that, and we would encourage people to watch for the invitation if you're interested in being a parent ambassador. The work of this group will be to put together events throughout the year to engage, not just events, but events to engage our community of parents with babies all the way up through school age. Also, though, to find people where they are. So in the pediatrician's offices and in the library and the YMCA, we want to partner with groups to start bringing people into our Winchester Public School family from the minute they're parents. So that's a pretty neat piece. And I don't think there's anything I need to highlight there.
The Town Safety Committee with Chief Susi and the persons we have in the building, all hazards and software, we have a consultant. Would that person be a part of that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, Tom Dillon.
That's it. Tom Dillon will be part of that. Okay.
To the extent that it's plausible, since he's only with us once a week, and he has to make it work. But
okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Luby. Appreciate that. Okay. Moving on, item D, committee reports. Finance Committee, we meet 2 weeks from now, and it'll be the first time we will be meeting for this coming school year, and one of the things that we're hoping to do is to get it a little bit more granular inside the budget itself, per one of the requests of the board. And so we look forward to looking at those details at the Finance Committee in 2 weeks' time. Curriculum, Renee is absent. I don't know if you want to add anything on curriculum?
So tonight, as one of the information items, I'll be sharing some preliminary look at our SBAC and GSS scores as well as our growth scores. Purpose tonight, I have a handout to hand you, and we'll put it up maybe on the screen so that we can just see what it is and absorb it, and I'm just gonna talk through what the different metrics mean. And then at the curriculum committee in 2 weeks will be an opportunity, you'll have had a chance to really see it, think about it. If you have questions between now and then, you can send them ahead or otherwise, but in the committee meeting, we'll be able to really dig into it. Tonight's more like show and tell, committee meeting, place to work through it.
Okay.
And add detail to it, of course.
Thank you. And policy?
Yes, Julie and I are going to make another attempt to get through the last slew of policies so that we can bring it to the board to vote on.
How many we're looking at? Would it
A
be
lot.
another fat packet?
It's the work.
Okay, all right. And item 4?
Julie had already spoken about it. She met with head of schools, Susie, on Friday, I believe.
That could be.
To discuss the first steps in talking about a contract with Gilbert.
Okay, all right, very good. Item E, liaison reports with the Gilbert School Corp.
So the main highlight of the Gilbert School Corp is that at last meeting, we approved the verbiage that we approved at the special meeting. And a little something to add, Building and Grounds' chair was absent, so I facilitated the meeting. And I gave my acting chair liaison report at the meeting later that night.
Okay, okay, thank you. Just so you all know, the MOU for special ed is signed as well, okay? Moving forward for this current year. All right, item 7, information items. Item A, Dollar General Grant Award for Literacy, Shannon Ball.
Shannon's going to tell you she took great initiative and applied for a grant that she was awarded, so I asked her to come tell you all about it.
Fantastic.
And I'm gonna be quick. I'm Shannon Ball. For those of you that don't know, I am one of the instructional coaches for the district. I've been with the district for 20 years so far, so going strong. So in the spring of last year, or last school year, this year, I applied for the Dollar General Literacy Foundation grant. If you have a Dollar General in your area, you are able to apply for this grant. So I was like, let's try it. So I received the grant at the end of August. We were awarded $4,500. And we're hoping to use this grant to support a literacy night for pre-K to 6 in order to bring in our community, our families, with any age children, to support them with, learning about literacy and how they can support literacy at home. And that as part of this grant, we're hoping that they can, or we will have them leave with a book to take home. It supports our district's commitment to access to high-quality literacy instruction and strengthens our mission to ensure every child develops the skills needed to thrive as a confident reader. And I hope to be able to come back at a later meeting and share with you how our literacy night went and share details about it.
When is the literacy night?
We're hoping to do it sometime in November. We don't have a specific date yet,
Target
but
November.
we're looking at November.
Perfect, great. You can invite us too, right?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Any questions?
Thank you for taking the time to fill out the grant. How many pages was it? It must have been, grants are typically
It
pretty
was.
arduous.
It was several pages,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was worth it.
Appreciate
And I
it.
was very excited to go to
Yeah.
Julie and say that we got it, so.
That's awesome. Thanks for
Yes.
taking the initiative.
That's
Thank
fantastic.
you, Shannon, for doing that,
All right,
for being here to tell us.
Yeah,
about
for coming out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Putting books in kids' hands is
Yes.
really important.
Yes, it is.
Item B, enrollment reports. Julie.
Okay.
What's going on with kindergarten?
What's going on with kindergarten? Oh, well, that's a great question. And actually, somewhere I've got that actually under the financial reports that's gonna come up. So, this is the start of school year enrollment information. The top of the page, not much to draw your attention to. I think we anticipated 406 at Gilbert, so we came pretty close to that. This shows you all of the grade levels. We had anticipated going over our showcase. Our limit in kindergarten without having to pay overages and be bigger than you want a kindergarten to be is 72 at 4 sections of 18. We projected, anticipated, and planned for a 5th section because our original projections were for, I think, 88 kids or 82 kids. I have to go back and look, I'm not sure which, but either way, we knew we were anticipating being over. Because we are at 4 full sections of 18, we spent a lot of time, poor Rosie, I made her wait until literally like the week before school opened. We kept like reposting a job so that if we started to tip over our showcase, we could, because we kept thinking, you know, in the last week, they're gonna all show up. So we were ready to open a 5th section if we needed to. We had done the class list both ways. When it got down to the wire, we said, well, if we're at 71 today and we feel like we've been beating the bushes hard, we'll call it. And so we said, we'll stick at 4, but since they're all at the top, we put a kindergarten assistant in each room so that rather than bring the class size down with that 5th section, with the input of the teachers, the feeling was they would rather have the class of 18 with an assistant than a class of 14. I don't know if that was sloppy math. Without an assistant. They thought having the second person really would make it work. So we are saving money because we did not pay for the teacher. The assistant is about half the cost of a teacher. So we didn't need to do that, which, you know, it's one of those, if we didn't plan for it and then we had it, we'd be upside down and in trouble. So, but they did not materialize.
And increasing those sizes, it doesn't happen mid-year, you don't see anything at the holiday breaks or anything. I mean, this is typically, the wave is in August.
Right.
to
Anything can
September.
happen at any time, but it would be unusual to have a lot of kids move into 1 grade during the school year. It definitely happens. You hear all the time about, like, you know, grade level popping, but I would anticipate while we might get 1, 2 more kids per class, I don't think they're all gonna show up in any one particular moment.
Okay, great.
Our 4th grade is the bubble one. As you know, we have 5 sections there where, and that makes sense. The group in front of them is smaller because those are the kiddos. That 4th grade was in preschool during COVID.
Yep.
And so it was stay in preschool, don't go to kindergarten since it's not really open. And so that's, I think, why that group is bigger. So everything else is trending along in a good place.
Did we have a downtick in from last year in enrollment at Hinsdale? What was our enrollment last year
For the total number?
for Hinsdale? Yeah, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Rose.
I
Yeah,
can tell you, hold on, I have,
69 sounds like about right.
I don't have that.
not
back.
that much higher though.
No, I don't,
10 students.
68, but when I was there, but it was a little bit higher.
Could look it up, we have it in our packets, yeah. Okay.
It's okay. I'm just curious, 'cause it seems like we're lower.
Okay.
You know, I would say, I often say we have 600 kids, like the way I talk about it is, we're at 600, Gilbert's at 400, so we're at roughly 1,000 in all. So if we're at 594 right now, we can't be drastically different. Could be off by a handful, but
Right.
it's in the ballpark. But I will get you the exact
No,
numbers. from
I
last
just, I was looking at the number and it just seemed like it was lower than last year.
Next up, attendance reports. So this is a wow, this is not, I'm sorry,
No, it's okay. Page 14, yeah.
page 14. So this is last year's attendance data. So, fun fact, we continually talked about how awful our chronic absenteeism rate was and our average daily attendance, and the poor principals felt like they were beating their heads against the wall, and the data just kept being unfortunate and, you know, being new. I kept saying, what are we doing differently? What are we doing differently? And we were asking the wrong question. We hadn't changed anything that was impacting kids. We had changed in the end of the previous year, they changed one of the attendance codes. Mel was experimenting and curious about kids with early dismissals and how much school they were missing. And so an attendance code was changed from being marked as present to being marked as absent. So we were using an attendance code, early dismissal, who know,
Absent for the whole day?
was counting kids as
Interesting.
absent.
Oops.
And the reason we know that is because the principals, because they are so determined to get all the kids to school, we pulled the lists of the kids who were chronically absent last year. And I asked that they be sent to the principals before school started. And I said, so what can you do before school starts to make the kids want to come to school? Reach out to their parents, host a ice cream party. What are we gonna do to not let them be chronically absent again? And they sat down and they started going through the list and they were like, but this kid wasn't chronically absent. This kid wasn't. And lo and behold, and we worked closely with Charlene. So now what you're gonna see, this very messy looking chart, is the top of it is last year, and then the bottom of it is the very bottom is the year prior. The numbers in blue are what it turns out actually happened last year. So if you stay in the top chart with me for a minute, those numbers have gone up, and that is the percent of kids who are in school on average on any given day. So for the district, end of year data, we were at 93.95, so call that 94%. And the year prior, we were at 94.6%. So modestly less, but not scary less, the way we had been thinking about it. If you go to the bottom chart, that student chronic absenteeism rate, which in the previous year had been 8.3 overall, and we left the year thinking we were at almost 24, and we were horrified and just kept shaking our heads and saying, how? Turns out it was not as good as the year prior, but at 11.44%, we're not making the news. I mean, that's like, okay, we can work on that. You know, in a perfect world, you'd love that number to be 5% or less. I think in pre-COVID days, I don't know what our data was, but I think 5% was the goal that people strove for. So at 11.44, we're all gonna sleep a little better, and we're gonna keep working on it, and we're actually gonna still continue it as a goal, because we had already written goals around it, sort of thinking about what to do about it. But I give you my most sincere apologies for not knowing where to look to find out that the information was not accurate. So bad news that it was inaccurate, good news that the kids were coming to school after all.
Yeah.
That's a good mistake to figure out.
Right, I mean, so.
What time is typically early dismissal? Like if they're in the morning and then they leave, it could vary? Could it vary? 4 hours. Okay.
Change the code for before 11:30 or after 11:30, so they don't get credit for the day if they leave before.
Got you.
Before 11:30.
Unless they step out to the dentist for an hour and come back, and then we pull that out, they're marked present, and we put it as a note that they were gone for an hour, that kind of thing.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Kudos to those who thought of that and saw that pattern code. Wow. Okay.
So, now, the current year's data, which I'm pretty confident in, although my confidence is a little shaken, but understandably, I suppose. So you'll see, okay, so already I see something that's confusing to me. We carried forward, the bottom line is District 23-24. We're gonna change that to 24-25. So the numbers that we would wanna see, right, but we don't have it, like that's for the,
So edit this
Right,
here.
instead of 23, 24, you're gonna change it to 24, 25.
right, so now I want the year prior.
You wanna come back?
No, because just, she
Yeah,
just
no, it's-
caught that.
The bottom line is,
Right,
just ignore the pink line from
Yeah.
it, that shouldn't have printed with it. Each one is woven in with it. So for August, for example, this year, we're at 95.5,
95.5.
where previously we were at 97.65. And for chronic absenteeism, 6% versus 3.7%. I'm gonna say to you that anybody who was absent at all was chronically absent, because there were 3 school days in August, so.
right, and so it counts as a,
There were literally 2 school days, so this data is really just for practice of how to do the report.
so how many students are you talking about when it's a 2-point, almost, 2-point difference?
In the district, so if you have 600 kids, 10% is 60, so 1% is 6.
So 12 kids,
Were absent one time.
right. And also
12 more
for the-
kids were absent one time.
Right, in August, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
In a typical month, obviously, you have to be absent typically twice to be chronically absent in that month,
Right,
which, again, it's sort of confounding to look at it even 1 month at a time, because any whopping cold could keep you out 2 days. And so it's really looking at the pattern by student that's gonna tell the story much more.
Too early to tell.
So that is the story with attendance, but we are watching it closely, and we are still working with the list of kids who were chronically absent last year to try to not have them be chronically absent this year.
Great. Okay, item D, personnel report. Page 16.
Okay, so you've got people who left since the last time we gave you a report, people who've joined us since that time, and people we're still looking for. I think I may have signed something today, actually, for a building sub at Pearson, right? So we're closing in on these.
We actually hired a building sub, we have an interventionist position.
You hired a building sub today? It was yours, sorry. Okay, so now we have a building sub in both buildings. Done. Beautiful. So we are closing in on it.
The other thing too, you're gonna negotiate the para contracts next year, is that right?
This year for next year.
For next year.
I think, right?
Maybe that will help a little bit. We'll see where that goes. 'Cause we're-
this year.
What's
Is
that?
The following year?
Because if you look here, we've got.
Because this year was custodians, and, right?
Custodian and nurses. So, I mean, that's a competitive market, para-educators for sure. You know.
We're gonna participate in a job fair later this month that's
I saw that, yeah.
hosted in town.
Yep.
And we're working with Northwest Community College. I met with a lovely para today who's in their associate's degree program, the 2-year program for early childhood, and she's working as a para with us at Pearson. So we're trying to really partner with them.
Do we have, is it early childhood program, is that here at Northwest Community?
Yeah.
Oh, good, good,
Yeah.
okay.
That is a very highly rated,
I'm sorry?
so that's a very highly rated community college.
It's
Most
very
people
nice.
don't know that, yeah.
Very nice. They were wonderful hosts to us this summer. We did all of our professional learning there in their facilities, which are beautiful. And every person we interacted with, from security through the people who sort of manage the facilities, through the people who run the programs, have been fabulous. So I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any connections with Northwest Community? Like, do they do hours or intern parts courses with us?
Yeah.
Good,
We
in our
actually,
schools?
Rosie and I just spoke, maybe yesterday, about someone who's gonna be placed to do, it was like 120 hours or something.
Okay, good. Like a
Um,
student teacher type of
Oh,
placement.
Perfect. An observer, I think, typically, you know, this is an associate's degree program, so these
Yeah.
are folks that are, they don't even have a bachelor's yet, so it's not gonna be student teaching as much as like observation hours.
Okay.
But good as paras. I think we had talked about that, right? Tapping
Yeah.
into the local college to help our shortage of paras.
Have we hired or are we close to hiring a special ed teacher at Pearson?
I can take that.
Yes?
I'm waiting for a start date. We have somebody that we're bringing on board through an agency, and I'm just waiting for the recruiter to give me a start date.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, item E, year-end financial.
Okay. I will walk you through, and if you have hard questions, then we'll invoke Nancy. On page 17, again, so the first set we're gonna do are the year-end from last year, and then we'll have our regular monthlies. The upshot on this page is that we managed to end the year at $43,000. Nancy, in a $22 million budget, so 2.2 million would be 10%, so 200,000 would be 1%, so 0.01%, so it's only about 0.02% of our actual appropriated budget, even though that's a lot of dollars. When you think about like margin of variance, not bad to finish out the year that close to what you anticipated when you made your budget. So that money, there's a motion under action items if the board has an appetite to put that into the non-lapsing account, because we managed to end the year with a little bit of money.
Yep.
Not gonna change the world, but better than being in a deficit.
Better than being, yep.
Town support was spent to the penny, and we never touched the 1,800 that was in the non-lapsing account. The grant account, I think you're aware, because we talk about it all the time, we straddle grant years, so there's always gonna be, in addition to the 660 fund, there's always some grant money that is crossing years because it's a 2-year grant. So there'll always be money in that line.
Okay.
And then we'll dig into the details of those in the next page. This is year-end, the appropriated budget specifically. So I'll show you a couple things. For example, we ended the year, so again, we ended the year with $43,000 left in the appropriated budget, which is a mishmash of some lines are over, some are under, because we don't go through the paper exercise of moving stuff. We let you see where the spending actually happened. So for example, the wage line was not fully spent, but the technical services is overspent, and those two are very similar because the sub-nurses comes out of professional technical services. Freeman Burr, the interim superintendent, came out of the professional technical services. Tom Dillon is in that line, so that's why that one is overspent and the other one underspent largely. The other big overspend, pupil transportation, is largely McKinney-Vento. In the year prior, there was 0 in the budget, and then the rules around it changed, and we started having to spend lots of money. The special ed out-of-district tuition is a little bit over plan, but actually quite marginally considering what it could be.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Okay. Any questions?
Just looking for a minute.
The next, page 19, if you see sort of the double line in the middle of the page, to the left of that is the town appropriated budget, and you'll see the bottom corner of that box at 43,000 is what we just looked at. That's not different. What is additional on this page is seeing it next to the town support for education. which, as you know from the first piece of paper, was spent fully as planned. So there's not a lot of new information on this page, I wouldn't say. Just a different way to look at it. The next page, the grant budget. What will I point out to you? I'll point out to you.
The 660 is now 441.
Right, which actually at the start of the year it was 460, 458 actually. So for all the times we said, well, if all else fails, we've got the 660, we did a good job of barely touching it. We only spent 17,000 out of the 660 last year.
Where do we park that? In what line do we park that? Because I know we ask it every time.
What do you mean?
The 441, whatever it is.
Page 20 at 682.
It's ARP
ARP
MOE
MO
provision.
provision.
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Nope, that's okay.
Do you want to remind everybody where the origin story is at on that one?
The origin story. Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
As the COVID distributions were happening and everything came with very set rules, we got an allocation of $660,000 that came sort of without rules and without strings. And so we are judiciously using that as a safety net and spending it under dire circumstances only.
Because they miscalculated our population.
I was going to say, yeah, it was kind of a refund,
Yes.
if you will, because,
That
yeah,
was
they
2 years ago.
miscalculated. Yeah, so.
Way back.
Yep.
Okay.
I was trying to be careful.
So it's good that we're, oh, no, we can.
We can,
Yep.
exactly.
We're just happy to have it.
Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
no, it's
Um,
a good emergency fund.
Yeah, it's what lets us sleep nights and,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Food service budget. We added to this report just the previous year's actuals next to the current year's actuals to help tell the story for you. So the food service budget, you'll see the first column there is what we planned. The middle column is what actually happened, and the one to the far right is what happened the year prior. So as an example, and that top line, lunch receipts, that's just the incidentals. That's the faculty purchasing, it's students buying second lunch, it's any catering that the lunchroom does for us. So that's not the big money, but we anticipated 15,000 and brought in about 12,000 there. The National School Lunch Program reimbursement is the big money. That's what we get back from the federal government for all the lunches that we provide and all the breakfasts that we provide. And we did well there. We came in above what we anticipated. Head Start started participating more fully. And what else was I going to draw your attention to? So the Board of Ed subsidy really is the floating number that makes it work, right? So we don't, so whatever we need to put in to get it back to zero is what our subsidy ends up being. So we anticipated or planned for it to be 14. In fiscal year 24, the district contributed almost 47,000 to make the program work. This year we got it down to just about 20,000 through really good hard work at looking at getting people off the clock as quickly as possible, and making other staffing choices to make us lean machines. And then another piece that we did in addition to watching the wages closely was working with supplies and looking at what happens if you buy fresh stuff and make something versus buying all the prepackaged things, and playing around with how you could save money and sell more lunches that way. So the food service crew has really been working hard to up student use and cut costs. So although we're still contributing, I think I read when I had to sign for the year for our program, because we've been extended as a community provision, meaning the kids will all still continue to receive free breakfast, free lunch. Nobody has to fill out forms or say, I get free lunch. It's just in place. I just forgot the other half of my sentence.
Fill out forms, everybody gets it. No
Yeah.
one has to fill out forms.
Well, so we're watching it closely, doing a good job, and stay on it.
Kudos to the work.
Yeah.
Really, it's quite a difference. Okay, great.
The page that follows is a summary rather than all the little lines. This will show you fiscal year '25 lunches and breakfasts compared to fiscal year '24 lunches and breakfasts. So our lunch sales were modestly up and our breakfast sales were modestly down, but not crazy swings in either one.
Okay.
The last page of last year's closing out is a report that we're required to produce for the state. It is the net cost of school maintenance. So this is specifically just about keeping the buildings afloat. So it's a mix of money that was spent through the appropriated budget and through town support for education. And maybe even in the town budget a teeny bit because crossing guards, right? No, that's a different one. Sorry, I'm stuck in the EFS report, right? In that report, that money goes in, not this one though. So this one is largely just a town support and appropriated budget. It would be the only two sources, but it's combined from those things that are specifically for the buildings.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That's the end of closing out last year. I think you can hear from here Nancy having a heavy sigh.
Thank you for your work, Nancy, in closing up that year. And now we open the door to the next.
All right.
Never ends.
So, first page, budget snapshot.
Page 24 in our packet.
24 in your packet. Town appropriation. What's spent so far, obviously this reflects just the summer. Oh, that was the other thing I was gonna say about the lunch thing. Not important, but just that we put out a ton of food in the summer as well. Well, you'll see that in a minute because it's in the lunch reports here. Never mind, we'll get to it. So in this one, you'll see it's our expectation by the end of the year, we'll spend the full appropriated budget and the full town support. The non-lapsing, we hope not to touch. It wasn't part of our budget planning for the year because we didn't anticipate having it. We expect to have some grant money left at the end of the year. That would be the 660, which is 440, plus the CBITS, basically. So CBITS is a little bit of money we get when our PPS folks participate in some trainings and things from the state. They want to incentivize it, so we get little bits. So CBITS is little bits. It's literally like $9,000, but so that's where that's reflected.
Okay.
So that 450 would go forward, and then we have the carryover parts of the grants as well that are designed to go over and become the budget for the following year.
Okay.
The next page, and again, these should look pretty similar because they're the reports you've been getting each year, but with Nancy's patience, we've been adding columns, tinkering a little bit, trying to make it easier to understand and interpret. Based on questions that you ask and feedback that you have, we may continue throughout the next few months to keep tinkering, and when we look at it at the finance committee, like we're really trying to make sure that it's transparent, understandable, meaningful. So we're just gonna, with Nancy's goodwill, we're just gonna keep adding columns and making changes until suddenly we're like, so the next page, 25, the information here is for 26, the header for some reason printed from the old report, so with my apologies. This should say fiscal year 2026 appropriated budget year to date, August 2025.
Okay.
So that's just a function of picking it up off of the wrong spreadsheet page. So columns here. Adopted budget, so that's what's in our budget book. If you go down that first column, you'll see 23,993, 865. That is the approved, the voter approved appropriated budget. So that is what we said we were gonna do. Previous month balance, current monthly expenditures, so that would be July next to August, is that right, Nancy?
Yes.
So July, August, expended year to date. Encumbered, so for things like wages, you encumber, for all the people who work for you, you encumber that right away, so you know that it's set aside and you've got it. Year-to-date balance is what's not yet spent or encumbered, which is the percent spent is what's been spent so far compared to what you said you were gonna spend. Projected adjustments is what we know is out there, but it's not technically encumbered.
So are we gonna be over with professional technical services by 247,000?
Yes, so
Where's that?
keyed right into it. So you may recall that in our budget, we had planned to direct hire a BCBA, and we had planned to direct hire a speech and language pathologist. So you'll see the wage category is currently about, well, there's other things in there, but 160,000 of that projected year-end positive balance are because we did not direct hire those people. Unfortunately, we are hiring them through a contractor, which then moves them down to professional technical services.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it out loud, but you're gonna fall out of your chair. So the BCBA, is costing $107,000, which, you know, okay. The SLP contract is for about $160,000. Needless to say, we are not resting on contracting. We post and repost and continue to look for direct hires, and some of the agencies allow you to buy people out of their contracts with them. So we have to sort of do the over-under on, does that make sense? You know, if you buy someone out and then they were to leave, that would be horrendous. So we've got to read the fine print and see how all that works. But, so that's why that one is over, because that's your 247 right there. It's just
The two
those two
positions.
contracts. And
Yep.
when we do the special ed teacher, next month's report will undoubtedly involve more in the professional technical services and some more unspent in the wage line.
Speech and language, that's part of IEPs, right?
Yep.
And then BCBA is also part of IEP?
Yep.
Okay.
And both of those allow us, without the speech and language pathologist, we can't use speech and language assistants, which is sort of our delivery model. And our behavior techs can't work in the absence of a BCBA to direct their work.
Right.
So you need the one certified person, and then you can have a bevy of people that they support and train up.
And the special ed person we're waiting for,
Is
and that is a
contracted.
contracted. That's why we're waiting for them. And the reason for all of this is because we can't seem to find, because there's a shortage.
Exactly, well said.
Oh, yeah, I saw that article.
The other plan, the other thing that's deviating from plan by a decent amount of money there, the pupil transportation, we budgeted for McKinney-Vento, but nowhere near enough, and so that one is already blown out of showcase.
So moving forward, we really have to think about that. in
Budgeting
the-
more for that.
Exactly.
Right, at budget
exactly.
season, it was still not evident that it, you know, keeping in mind when we start building our budget.
Right.
The size of that was not evident yet.
That's true of every district right now, right, to get special ed transportation.
Special ed transportation and McKinney-Vento transportation, both incredibly hard to arrange and costly. The grant report is,
Okay.
next up is the grant report.
And excess cost is flat.
Excess cost is flat, right, to the town, and not reflected on here because it goes to the town.
Yep. Okay. Any questions? 26?
Thank goodness for rates.
Yeah, really,
That's
really.
what that shows.
Yeah, you'll all remember that at the end of the school year, we were sweating a little bit over what might happen, what might get canceled, because we do rely heavily on grants. So we're a little vulnerable for that, but
$3.4 million. Okay.
Last part of the financials are the food services. This is now the budget for the coming year. These, of course, are based on what happened for real in the report we just looked at. If everything goes on plan, Nancy's got us down to only having to use $6,000 of district funds. She is a pie-eyed optimist, for sure, but we did better, a lot better between 2 years ago and last year, so maybe we'll continue to make that progress. That's the goal. And I think we share these financials with Ed Advance, who runs our kitchen, right? They're aware of.
And also, I'm actually meeting with each of the
Kitchen managers.
in each of the 2 schools to get some economies.
So they're well aware of what we're attempting and what the goals are in terms of what we do for revenue and what we keep our costs at in terms of supplies and things. So everybody is part of the team on trying to make that happen.
Okay.
Meal volumes. So what I was gonna point out to you is that obviously we don't have September meal volumes on here. We are running 1 month behind, but July and August, lots of lunch pickups in the summer.
Does that suggest that persons in the community are more needy?
So 26 are the taller ones. No. Is it possible that people are more needy? Why we've given out more meals in the summer? Yes. Is it possible that people have become more comfortable taking them? Yes. Is it possible that it was well promoted and people knew about it? Yes. So is it possible? Yes, but I wouldn't know how to really pick apart the why.
Okay. Could be all the factors.
Could be the first week the food was great and everybody came back. I mean, it's hard to really say
Yeah.
why we did more.
What is it that's being picked up in the summer, Julie? Like, how is it packaged and what is it?
So once a week, it's 5 days worth of meals?
It's 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches per student. So if you say you have 3 students, you would get 15 of each. And the cold goods are in a separate bag from the dry goods. And things are packaged in such a way that there's a meal. So you're not having to put all the pieces together. This is the meal for one day, this is the meal for one day, this is the meal for one day. But out of the 2 bags. So.
And then is it the same stuff that they're getting in the cafeteria during the school year, or is it, like, what consists? I'm just interested to know
Well, in some
the details.
cases, a lot depends on what we can get. I remember one summer, we actually got a boatload of watermelons, we barely had room for them, and everybody got a watermelon. Staff had a double the time handing those out. So it's, a lot depends on what they get. So there's certainly a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in the summer, more so than during the school year, because they're more accessible.
So are they getting like pre-made sandwiches, or you said that it's per meal, so they're not getting a loaf of bread per se, they're getting a sandwich?
They're not getting a loaf of bread. They would get the bread, and then the beef pork would be separate, because that would be in the cold pack. I haven't dissected, with the managers how they do it. I'm just amazed that they pull it off. So,
Do families have to pre-register to come in?
absolutely not. You drive up and you tell me you have 5 kids,
Okay.
no questions asked. We'll give you the food.
Okay.
And the state will reimburse us for it. So,
And that's the state guidelines, no questions asked, no pre-registering?
precisely.
Okay. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, moving along. Item G, preliminary state assessment data.
Okay. I got one TV to do what I wanted to do, so I'm gonna
Back there.
use that one rather than make everybody wait while I fool around and see if I can get the others. I apologize that it's the one in the back, but that was the one I could subtly play with while we were talking. I have a handout for board members and a few extras as well.
There's a movie playing over there, you said.
Yeah, maybe I I can turn that one off, or maybe I can switch the source, should be.
I just bet the public can't see that too.
Just one of those say.
You're moving that one.
Yeah, that's why I'm reluctant to do that one at all.
We can ignore the movie that's playing on our right.
Same room.
They're both
So
Sam
this-
Swear.
it down
No,
just
this
in
is
case
an- this is
something
an
pops
LG
up.
one.
I know, that's what I'm worried about. Like,
So
what was
I
that
don't know
rated?
why this
Jonathan, go turn off that
Should we
TV.
just turn off the monitor?
I think
Do
you
we have a
should.
remote for that?
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's gonna
Didn't
pop
that just
up over
happen
there.
at a board?
So
at
the
a-
problem
That
is-
did, that happened in the Torrington, right? The Torrington
Did it?
board
Oh,
meeting.
that's a good
Somebody
point.
hacked
Yeah,
into it
Jonathan, if you
and,
can do
yeah.
it manually would be better, because the
Is there a
click,
button on it? Center.
Hurry up.
Pull that plug.
There we go. Do I hold it?
Yeah, there we go.
Someone's turning the channel.
Is it touchscreen?
I think
geez.
Julie's running it.
no, but doing that, we messed this one up.
All right.
You're just changing the channel, Jonathan.
There's a little button here that says power, it's the power logo, and I'm just holding it.
Yeah, but it's not doing it, huh?
Now we got
Now we have
sound.
sound.
Oh, that's worse.
No, that's volume.
All right, let's, I think we should turn it off.
Wait, do I move to the left?
There you go.
Go,
Okay.
there you go,
Okay,
right
now.
there, right there. Do it. Nope, nope. Go back. There.
How do I press select?
I didn't,
I'm just glad it's rated G.
and that remote doesn't work for that TV, Julie?
All right,
All
leave it alone.
right, don't worry, Jonathan. Julie, that remote
right,
doesn't work
let's,
for that TV?
I'm trying to,
Hold on.
that's all I can do.
Yeah.
Leave
There you
The
go.
problem is
Yeah.
they're all
All right.
together because they're the same.
There we
That's
go.
right. We'll work with
That's
that.
fine. Yeah, that's okay. It was a valiant attempt, Jonathan.
Hey, I got us some of the way there.
You are.
Thank you. Yeah, this one I can actually see, so I'm good.
There's extra copies here if anybody wants a paper copy.
Maybe put it on the table there, Jonathan.
Put it on the table.
Barb and Rosie, if you guys want one, I don't know. Parents who are here, you're welcome to look at one. Do you want one, Mrs. Bishop? And we'll get these posted. I apologize. 2 clickers on one is more than I know how to unpack. So what you're looking at are the newly released SBAC and NGSS results. SBAC is taken by kids in grades 3 through 8 in literacy and mathematics. NGSS are the science assessments, and those are taken by kids in grades 5, 8, and 11. So the state gives us back assessment data on how well the kids performed in literacy and mathematics and in science. And then additionally, in language arts and math, they give us growth data. So I'm going to talk you through first just looking at the ELA, the math, and the science achievement data, but then I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the growth data because I think it's super important. So starting at English language arts, I'll show you what you're looking at. You've got 4 years consecutive data. This is all post-COVID. The 21-22 school year was, I'll say, a regular school year-ish. And the percents that you're seeing here, the ones that are in the left-hand column of each year are the percent of students who met or exceeded the goal in the state. And then in Winchester is the right-hand column. Although the color copier is imperfect, you can see I've tried to show you the moving cohorts. So for example, in 2022, the 3rd graders become the 4th graders in 2023, the white ones there. Moving down in 2024 become the 5th graders and are now the 6th graders. So as you look at this, if you want to compare, and the most valid comparison is always going to be that cohort growth because you're looking at the same group of students. If you look directly across the line, it's different kids, different years, different circumstances. You know, if you look at enough years together, you can look for trends, but if you look down, you'll see like the light yellow were 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then the blue were 5th graders in the first year of this and 8th graders in the last year of this. So what you'll see is how our kids did, for example, this past spring, and you'll see our 3rd and 4th grade literacy numbers are low for us based on what typically happens, and our 4th grade number is lower than that group of kids was the year before. So the percent of kids who meet or exceed, there are 4 levels on SBAC and NGSS. Level 1 is not close, level 2 is nearing, level 3, of course, is you've met the expectations that we have for your grade level, and the 4th level is that exceeded, you're doing super duper. So if 42% of your kids met or exceeded in 1 year, and then they came to school for another whole year and everybody made a year's growth, or roughly a year's growth, you would expect to have, again, about 42% of your kids meeting or exceeding, right? Because it's, if you don't continue to grow, then you would fall out of that number and be in band 2. So at a minimum, you would hope to have the same percent of kids meeting or exceeding when you're looking at a cohort. So for us, going in grade 3 from 42% down to 35% is worrisome. One of the things that strikes me is that it was the first year implementing a new resource, the CKLA, and I'm not saying that it's a function of the CKLA, but as a function of the fact that it was new to us. Because anytime you implement a new program, there's a little bit of mayhem of learning how to use it, how to follow it. Inevitably, you're not moving through it with the speed at which they would be recommending. So we are working on that in a lot of different ways, but that is one of our initial speculations, is that some of that may be due to a newer program.
Did the state as a whole go down then? Because everybody had a new science of reading program, you know?
Not necessarily. Not everybody did have a new program, and the state did not go down.
All right.
The state, you'll see it to the left there, is 47%, and they were 46%
The year before, 46, 47.
But the,
gotcha.
but the trend then, because so I'm looking at the grade 4, right, if we're following the cohort.
Yeah, they went up.
So 22, the grade 4 was at 51%, so they were above the state average. 23, they were 46%, so they dropped. Year 24, they went up again, but then they had a huge drop in year 25, which is the CKL, that would have been the beginning of 7th grade where they're not using CKL.
They are not in CKLA now.
Right, so we had, so can we use the CKLA as, because it didn't work for the grade, the cohort that started at grade 4 and 22. You see what I'm saying? So what else do we have for?
I'm not following, I'm sorry. Say that
Okay.
again.
Okay, so in
she's
2020.
looking at grade 4.
Right,
I'm looking at
those
grade
kids never
4.
had CKLA.
Correct, so in 2022, they were at 51% following the cohort.
Right.
The next year, they were at 46, the next year, they were at 57, so they had a big jump, but then they had a big drop going into the 7th grade.
They lost CKLA
They never touched CKLA.
in
Right,
7th grade.
exactly.
So I can't speculate in any way, shape, or form
Or
about the
Gilbert,
7th and 8th
right.
grade scores.
'Cause
Well,
that's
I'm
Gilbert.
just looking at, right, we're talking about cohorts.
But the one in 24, 57%
The other
is year
thing-
1 of CKLA.
Well, we can't look at the 7th and 8th, because that's a different,
Correct, but I'm using the
Yep.
cohort and CKLA as a reason, but I don't know if that,
The other thing I'm
Works.
just gonna point out is that, remember that because these are grade levels and we're a small district, every let's say 4 kids equals about 3%. So when you take that 4th grade cohort that you looked at and you said 51% down to 46%, of the 80 the roughly 80, because we don't have exactly 80, but you're talking about a swing of maybe
Right.
5 kids or so.
Right.
So we always have to be cautious in remembering that, like, the difference between 42% and 40% is veritably nothing.
Several
It's probably
kids.
one child.
So these
And
are-
kids move in and out, so it's not a perfectly matched cohort on here.
This is spring assessment.
This is
Right.
end of each grade level, right?
Yep.
So some of the victories just, and again, we're gonna go through this at the committee meeting when you've had a chance to digest it. But when I look at the grade 5 ELA, more kids, what is that, 8%, so probably 10 kids more met or exceeded. So I see that as a positive.
At which grade? The grade 6? In
Grade
20
5 and actually grade 6 as well. They had a strong year in English language arts, and that matches our sense of, the teachers felt very positive going through the year with the kids, and they were digging into the nonfiction reading and really making positive strides. But the 3 and 4, we've rearranged our intervention model so that we can do a lot more small group instruction this year.
Which one is the year for CKLA year 1? That was in 24?
No, it was
25.
25.
25.
right.
Spring of 25, last year's kids.
Last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
okay.
year was the,
CKLA year 1. Okay, gotcha.
so, and I'm not saying it's the fault of the program at all, but
Okay.
to the extent that the 3rd and 4th grade teachers were figuring it out, I'm also gonna say that 3rd grade group is the group, from our point of view, that is most impacted from COVID. So if you look down at the math, I think that'll add an interesting layer, right? If you look at the 3rd grade in math at 28%, which is incredibly low, that supports our statement that that 3rd grade group is the one with 5 sections, not 4, so there's more of them by a lot, and we think they are significantly impacted by COVID. We, again, have changed the intervention model to try and really go after that. That's a hot spot for us, is what is now our current grade 4. We've already done some data work trying to pick that apart and understand it. But interestingly, if you look at the group that just finished the grade 4 math, it's not as bad as it is in the language arts. One of our speculations is that the kids spend more time in intervention based on their homeroom. But again, we're gonna dig into these at the committee meeting and see more.
You'll be able to tell us like how many kids we're talking about in each of these grades and that sort of stuff.
If that's something you wanna know, yep. I can tell you the number, quantity of students, sure.
What's interesting to see is how many kids are moving, right, from band to band, year to year. How many kids are moving from band 2 to 3, for example? Is it the same kids that are moving, or is it different kids moving from 2 to 3? That'd be interesting. And there's 3 kids, band 3 moving down to 2. Like, you know, I know you can't identify individual children, but.
So let's flip over to science for a second. Science is a little different because it's only administered in grades 5, 8, and 11. So it's not an every year assessment. We only get results for that once. But I will point out to you that while we have always been strong in science, you can see across the grade 5 line that every year we've exceeded the state, that we continue to climb on that our gap between us and the state gets bigger and bigger. So we're very pleased with that, and we only anticipate that being even more with the addition of STEAM programming and drones, and coding is coming in through Innovation Station and all kinds of computer science stuff, so we're excited about that. Also under the science, I included the average scale score, which just, again, shows sort of the growth over time. If our average scale score went from a 502 to a 505, you know, these numbers are meaningless really, but you can see it as a relative piece that we continue to grow and continue to widen the gap between us and the state. So the growth one is the one I want to dial in on for a minute, because I want to explain it, and then again, at the committee meeting, we can really pick at it, because it's a complicated but really important concept. The state of Connecticut did this really cool thing after they had enough years of SBAC data that they could pull together, large numbers. They looked at it and they said, what is an ambitious yet achievable amount of growth that students should make? And they didn't just say like every student should make the same amount of growth. They, how they have 4 bands right now, right? Level 1, 2, 3, 4, and they split those in half. And so they said the students in the bottom half of band 1, if we look at kids who made good growth over time, how much did their scores move? Versus kids in the upper half of band 1, lower band 2, upper band 2. And so they acknowledge the fact that a kid at the top of band 4 is not going to make as much growth because
It's not reasonable.
they're not being exposed to that kind of content. People make different amounts of growth at different places. So they set growth targets. So they said, students who start with scores like Jonathan, we expect your score to move 76 points. Jeanette, we expect your score to move 39 points. Sandra, we expect your score to move 82 points, right? So they set a number for each student. They don't tell us these. Actually, there's probably a place you could click in to see it, but they consider those goals to be ambitious yet achievable. So if they say, Nora, your score should move 50 points on the scale this year, and you go 50 points, then your growth, your percent of the target achieved would be 100%. You can get as much as 110%. So if you got 55, you would be at 110%. And if you only earned 40, you'd be at 80%. Ideally, every kid should be at 100%. That's what you'd be striving for. That means you made an ambitious but achievable year's growth in a year's time. It's a lofty goal, no question about it. Some kids do make more than 100%, and some kids make very little. So then the state gives you back the average percent. So they say if you take all the kids together, what's the average percent? So if you look at the chart here for this year, you'll see at the state, at the different grades in ELA and math, what is the average percent of target achieved. So when we look at grade 4 in Winchester, it starts at grade 4 because these are matched data points. These are not where like the, to your point, some kids could have moved into 2 and out of 3 and whatever. The only kids who are included in this data are kids who we have a 3rd grade score and we have a 4th grade score. Or we have a 4th grade score and a 5th grade score, because they take the one score and they take the other score and they look at the difference, they look at what the target was, and they say what percent. So of our 4th graders, only, on average, we only made 53% of the goal amount of growth. To me, that's a huge opportunity. I look at that and say, wow, we can do better than that. We have to look at how we're using time. We have to look at how we're using our intervention. We have to look at all of our programs. We have to make sure we're teaching to the standards. But if on average in the state, they're hitting 70%, we gotta get there. So when I look at these, some of these are worrisome, because again, the goal should be 100, but when you do the average with some kids being more and some being less, I've never seen a school with 100%. Even 80 is like lofty, but you gotta get near 80. But I meant to get to these guys before I said this here, but I can't wait to go see the 5th grade math teachers and pat them on the back. Those kids made crazy growth. Compared to everything else on this piece of paper, right? I mean, that's amazing. So we have 2 teachers who've been with us a bit. They're really smart. They know the math. They're taking care of business, which tells me our kids can make great growth. Like, you know what? If all of these were like the same thing across the board.
So that cohort group in grade 4 in 22-23 was at 48.
Which group?
This ELA, if I was looking at 4th grade.
Yeah.
48%.
Tell her the year, the 22,
In 22-23 at 48%. Then they went to 74, like you're saying, down here at 74.
Right, they had a
And then
stronger
they went
year.
to 66.
So again, now this isn't a percent of kids
67.
meeting something.
66.
Oh, I see, 48, 74,
Because now they're moving into
66.
sixth grade.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
So it's how much growth they made in a year.
so that's instructional when you look at a group like that.
Right, because theoretically, the
Suggests-
capacity of the kids should be pretty similar.
Sure.
So in one year, they
Sure.
made half a year's growth according to this, the next year they made
Well,
3/4, and the next year 2/3.
It's instructional, but there's also other
But
things
there's
factors that come in, right?
CK,
Each level
CKLA
developmentally.
too. ELA, CKLA was 24, 25.
No, I know, but I'm saying, yeah. How does the state determine again their percentage?
So the percentage in the
For
state column
themselves.
is based on all the kids in the state mushed together.
Yep,
The way they came up with the goals or the targets was based on all the kids in the state over a period of like 5 years, maybe starting 5 to 8 years ago.
and then they just average it out, and then that's the number that we're trying to beat. And at least not fall, so their standard average target achieved fluctuates greatly too. So do we want to hold ourselves to what the state has, or do we wanna have just a static, listen, this is what we're going for, and the state,
I want us to get those growth numbers way up there.
yeah.
You know what, the kids are the kids, they come knowing what they know, but let's make their time in our classrooms worth it.
Individual growth goal. Don't we get rated as a school system based on that? There's a report.
Yeah, so our
Point thing. You showed it.
performance indicator,
That's it.
our, what, our
Yeah.
index rating, that we get in roughly end of October, I think we looked at it last year at a November board meeting,
Yeah.
will include our growth, it will include our performance index for achievement, because it'll take in not just what percent of your kids are in level 3 and 4, but what percent are in each of the levels, and they sort of mosh that all together. Our score on that this year will be dreadful, because our attendance will be, our fake attendance will be in it, and we can't fix it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
And PE was a weird thing last year, wasn't it?
we're fine, that was the year
Oh, the year
before,
before? Okay.
so,
interesting.
So math,
that was actually 2 years before, because last year's data
Was it
was
2?
recovered from it, yeah.
time flies.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna talk more about this in committee.
Right.
That's good.
So if there's questions that you have or things that you want me to come prepared to talk about specifically, feel free to send me questions.
Okay.
And otherwise, we'll come with this as well as other pieces to the committee meeting and go deeper.
Perfect.
I thought that was probably as much as anyone could absorb in one
Yeah.
night.
It's a lot.
I didn't want to
It's a
just
lot.
like send it to you to read on your own and say, okay, now
Right.
let's.
Forget it. We wouldn't just cite it.
Exactly, so
I have no idea.
that's your entry point, and then we can go deeper from there.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Julie.
you. Item 8, action items. A, non-lapsing account discussion, possible action. Motion to deposit the remaining funds from the fiscal year 2025 appropriated fund into the WPS non-lapsing fund account per Connecticut General Statutes 10-248A. That's that 43,000, I'm forgetting off the top of my head now.
44. Do you want to just give a quick and brief,
43,000.
give a quick and brief explanation to anybody who's listening of what a non-lapsing fund is?
Julie, you want to get a,
Sure.
for the audience?
So the statute says that if you come within 2% of your expected spend, but have 2% or less left over, your board can put that back in, I'll say like your savings account almost,
Emergency fund.
and hang on to it to spend where and when you need to in the future. Ours, I think we decided, was about 0.05 of the budget, so it's well below the non-lapsing limit. And basically, it's sort of encouraging you to be smart, smart and judicious users of the town's money. You build a budget that is genuinely reflecting what you think you're gonna need to do, and then you spend what you said you would. If you were coming up with huge percentages left over, it would suggest that you were way overcharging taxpayers. But to come in at 0.05 variance means you gave an ethical estimate to the town, because a budget is not a budget like you think about what you do at home. Like, we're gonna budget to spend this on Netflix and this and this and this. because we know we have this fixed amount. It's more like a spending plan, because there are so many variables when you're
Variables.
building the budget that you don't control.
Yep.
Um,
Like special ed.
Exactly.
Okay,
Okay.
do we
I-
make a motion
Yep.
to move 43,603 into the non-lapsing fund? Have a first?
All second?
Okay, so the first was Sandra?
I'll do this first. Yep.
Jonathan? Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? 5-0, unanimous. All set, Tiff? Okay. Item B, discussion and possible action on the 2026 Board of Ed meeting calendar, which is on page next.
29.
Okay. These reflect the Tuesdays with a
For
couple
the
of tweaks.
Yeah.
This is, I put this together for you all following the current year's calendar. And unless it says otherwise, it is the second Tuesday of the month and the fourth Tuesday of the month, as our pattern is in the months that we meet and not in the months that we don't. The first asterisk, April 7th, is during the first week of the month, because the second Tuesday is during our spring vacation. And November 24th falls on the evening before a day,
Thanksgiving recess.
Yeah.
yes, I was gonna propose that we do that, actually, I think the week before, or is it?
On the calendar?
Change that.
17.
Yeah, let me just double check myself, I thought I,
Oh, you changed.
yeah. November, November 26th, November of 26th. The 17th would be the third week of the month, so that's what I would propose there, because the 24th is the Tuesday night, there's no school Wednesday. And so if anybody's going anywhere for Thanksgiving, you're limiting their ability to take off.
So is the April 7th okay then too?
Yes, April 7th
Okay.
is,
First Tuesday.
This calendar.
yep, it's the
Okay.
first Tuesday.
Okay, so with an edit, November 17th for the committee meeting instead of the 24th, that's on page 29?
Right.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the calendar?
I have a suggestion. Can I make a suggestion? I know the regular meetings are pretty much set because we're in the room and but I would suggest that maybe the committee meetings, since there's going to be an election and new members, perhaps it might be good to look at the committee schedule to see if other days would work besides Tuesday.
Well, this
we
one
have it at
starts
Hempstead.
January, so then
Right.
December would be Tuesday, November would be Tuesday. So,
But if you guys wait and vote on this,
well, the thing is, we have to post meetings now
why?
for the following year, that's
For
our,
2026?
Yeah,
If the following
that's our job.
election were to occur.
Well, it's our
in-
job. but it's
they
a-
can change it,
They can change it in accommodation.
but
can occur
we
then.
need to move forward with, and they can decide to change it.
Okay. Is it in our bylaws that we have to present a calendar, a set calendar for 2026
It's somewhere.
in October or September?
It's usually somewhere, I'm not sure if it's our bylaws.
I'll look. Check amongst yourselves.
I'm just curious. We'll talk amongst
There's
ourselves.
something here, duties, committees,
Because it says discussion and
Meeting
possible action,
schedules.
so I'm assuming that because it's a possible action, we don't necessarily have to vote on it tonight.
Well, it could be left for October. What's this, September? But it might be in the bylaws.
just that there shall be a regular meeting, there shall be regular meetings of the board each month for at least 11 months of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
So
7,
for at
8,
least
9,
11
10,
months
11,
of the
so
year.
we've met that.
Meeting schedule. No, that's just, I don't think it specifies in the bylaws.
I don't think I've ever read it, that we have to have a special, a calendar set, not September for the preceding year.
So then from a practical standpoint, if we waited until November, we meet in the second week, we wouldn't have our meeting, I mean, if you wanted to split them and do the regular meetings now,
We'll
I
keep
mean,
the,
because we just don't have any meetings scheduled after December, so.
right, so the regular meeting should be kept anyway, because traditionally it's Tuesday
It's when
for
we have
the
the room.
second.
This is the room.
It's when we have the
We have
room.
less control over
Right,
all
but
those
there's
things.
more
Yeah.
flexibility with the committee meetings, because we're in Hinsdale, there's no tech to set up. We bring our scribe, who keeps us in line. Just a suggestion.
Are you thinking of committee meetings in this room then instead of at Hinsdale?
No, no, we keep them at Hinsdale. No, this room is too hard to schedule.
Wednesdays
So
are
how about-
usually no good because persons serve on the Gilbert Corp.
How about we do this? I'm gonna make a motion that we accept regular meetings as Julie published here.
Motion to set regular meetings. Yep.
I'll
And
second
that-
the motion.
Further discussion? My only concern about separating them is that we have to remember to move forward with,
Committee.
yeah, that's right, so.
I think we need group text to happen
What do you mean group text?
as a reminder of meetings.
Well, no, to vote on it.
I think Nora just meant
No,
we need to
on the
remember to go
agenda.
back and
To
do the
vote on
Put it
it.
on the
yeah,
agenda.
that-
It would-
We're
I
not
will-
gonna forget, no, that's, I
Tiffany
thought
will
you
keep us
meant that,
honest
you
on
just
that
have to.
one.
All right, motion's on the floor.
All right. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed? Abstention? I'll abstain.
Okay.
401, Tip? Okay. Item C, discussion of possible action, a custodian contract. So this has to go, so it's not accepted, the committee meetings. So it has to go
Well,
on,
you didn't make a motion to, I mean, you
Correct.
could make a motion if you want to and let it pass or fail, or we could just table that and do it at the November meeting. The problem is we don't set the meetings until the December meeting.
right, right.
I just remember that. So
This is
our
a calendar
bylaws
issue.
say you don't do committee membership until December meetings, which is awkward
Right.
because you have new members in November, but everybody
Right.
can just go to the meetings, but you won't have a quorum to really do
So,
business. Well, I guess you would. Whoever's still on the board, if they're on those committees. One possibility that the board may want to examine is looking at the bylaws. I think you can amend by 2/3 vote.
2/3.
Um,
Two monthly meetings have to transpire before you make any final decision.
Okay, so if you wanted to do something, you could October and November and change your bylaws to say that at the November meeting, you set the committee membership.
So it'll be when the new people get elected.
Right, because otherwise it is a little weird. I think in previous years, you may actually have done it at a November meeting, but your bylaws say December. And if you wait till December, you won't really have any members in November.
Right.
I can't remember.
Yeah, and so you wouldn't have a committee meeting in November?
Which I'm fine
Typically
with.
don't. I guess you don't. I mean, you're in the process of trying to figure out your officers in November, that first board meeting. I mean, you could put it on the agenda, but,
Yeah.
So you can't,
but there's,
or you shouldn't,
we
you
didn't
should be
figure
doing
out-
it, you
Well,
shouldn't do
well,
the committee
at the-
membership
at our
in
first
November unless
No.
you change your bylaws.
right,
No,
no,
we
we
got
can't do
yelled at at our
that.
first
So
meeting.
committees aren't selected until December.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And if they're not selected
Stay in your
until
lane.
December, it's at the December meeting when you figure out your committees that you're also figuring out your
Okay,
schedule.
I don't know what that means. Thank you for the
Is
welcome.
that right?
You could, yep, because you'll have a December committee meeting that's already scheduled for your new members. and you
But
could-
this, no, this is 2026. When you talk about November
Yep.
27th is 2026, so it's already done. But this enables a committee meeting to happen. Well, there's no election there in that year.
Yeah, we have committees scheduled for this year in November,
Yeah,
but we'll have no one on those
no
committees.
one to sit.
But it's the second, it's the third, you could.
Third
In the
Tuesday.
first meeting, you set, right, you elect your officers, you form the committees, everybody has to be on the finance committee, so everybody's gonna have to show up for the finance committee anyway, because everybody is a member de facto on the finance committee.
That's just best practice, I think,
That's what
too.
I'm saying. So then, maybe at that meeting, when everybody is sitting there, then you say who's going to be on education committee,
You're
who's
talking about
going
in
to be.
November? Well,
Yeah.
I think you take, well, you have to create a slate, right? I think you take suggestions, but the bylaws say December, maybe for a reason to pass the slate. Like, in other words, it's formalized in a due process way. So in November, you take suggestions, you have to fill it out, and so that December, you're actually voting on it and acting on
That
it.
seems like a lot. Why don't you just
One
make it
reason
on the
that it's-
November meeting?
No, because of the bylaws.
If you want to do committee membership in November, you would need to amend your bylaws. One thing that strikes me, though, is November, you're electing a new board chair, and the board chair nominates
it.
the
That's-
committees.
that's why there's a
and
delay.
so you don't know that you're going to be the chair until you
Right.
hold that meeting. And
Right.
how can someone who doesn't know they're going to be the chair be prepared to nominate committees?
That's correct.
I-
That's what I mean about the slate.
Maybe that's why it's
There's
December in
that
the bylaws?
December, yeah,
Probably had a discussion during that first
That is
meeting,
correct.
asking everyone,
that's right.
Let me know if you want
Try
to
to
be
think
on. I
about-
remember that.
yeah,
Mhm,
because I don't remember it being like, here you go.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's why. That makes sense.
So that would make sense why it's December and not November, which begs the question then, should we just not do committees in November? Because I don't know how you would,
Do a
Unless you just
committee
have,
until you
unless
do
you
the
have
December.
unless
Well,
you-
no, it's a non-election year. Well, I mean, when you don't have an election.
Then you
Um,
could do it.
Unless you just do the finance committee, and then you talk about
well,
nominating.
there's still no, even though you know you're gonna put all the people on it, they haven't been named on it until December, so you're
Right.
still not gonna have like a quorum to hold
No.
a meeting.
I don't understand why you wouldn't. If everybody is a member,
They're
But that-
not a member
Yeah,
but the other
until you
ones-
have a meeting
There-
where they're named members.
There
where
could be
they're-
some people say, no, I don't want to serve on finance. Sorry.
everybody's supposed to. That's like
Well,
a.
they don't
Is that in your
have to.
bylaws, or is that just like-
That's not in the bylaws.
That's not what we were told. We were told everybody's on the
Well,
finance committee.
that's just in part
Oh,
because we
really,
went through
Nora, please.
receivership.
Oh,
We went through receivership, and so that was sort of like a past practice for a number of years.
so then you
because
don't need to be on any committee, is what
I
you're
guess
saying.
typically not.
What does it say in the bylaws?
It's volunteer.
As part of the committee? So when
Yeah,
we
I
joined the
mean,
board.
You don't have to be on
Yeah.
any committee.
There doesn't even
There's
You don't have to be on
nothing
the
in
board.
When
You
I
don't have to be
joined
on
the
the
board,
policy.
You have to
we
be
were
on
told
one
we were
committee.
supposed to be
Well,
on the finance.
okay.
Everybody was part of the finance committee, and then you got to choose
I mean, it makes
whether you
sense
wanted to be
because you're part of the
education.
budget.
Right. And people wanted to learn about the budget. It's complicated, and we're coming out of receivership.
Oh,
We're in
listen,
receivership for
you don't have to
financial.
But it's not
explain
in
to
the
me about
bylaws. You don't
committee.
have to be
Not
on
in
any
the bylaws,
committee.
and it's not actually even typical. I think every district handles it their own way.
Right.
I mean, in my last district, there were, 3 people on a finance committee, there were 4 people on a curriculum committee, there was no committee as a whole. Your bylaws just say that at the there may be standing or special committees. At a regularly scheduled meeting in December each year, the chair shall propose to the board which standing committees shall exist for the year and shall establish the purpose for each. The chair shall propose the members to serve on each and shall appoint a chair for each standing committee. So technically speaking, when you sit at the November meeting, whomever is sitting around this table will elect a chair, that's a different
The
section.
regular meeting?
The regular November
Yes.
meeting, you'll elect a chair. And whatever the other positions are.
Secretary.
Secretary, and that's it.
Yep.
So if you hold the November committee meetings this year, because it's an election year, the only people who would be on committees,
In
No, the
November.
people who are
is-
only in their second year.
Right, the ones
any
Term.
board
going
may
on
appoint,
for-
the board may appoint
So
non-members.
Shane and Nora and Jonathan?
Yeah, so you really wouldn't meet.
No, you wouldn't have a quorum.
Right.
So November
well,
committee
Well, you,
meeting.
Well, here you go.
well, that's the other thing, is you reconstitute your committees, and when you have an election year, because you have new people typically, and then you change your quorum numbers too.
Right.
So any standing or special committee may be discharged at any time by 2/3 vote of the entire board. Unless the committee is discharged, no member of a committee can be removed without the consent of that member. But Vacancies on a committee can be filled by appointment of the chair, which appointment shall be approved or disapproved by a majority vote of the board.
Which
So
can happen in
if you wanted to
November.
hold, if you wanted to do all the things your bylaws said, then on the November meeting night, the new chair could appoint
Committee members.
committee members that would hold that spot for 1 month. And then you would do it all again
All
in
again in
December, when you
December.
revisit the question of, do we want all the same committees, who wants to be on them, who's
right.
chairing them?
Yeah.
But the board chair could, for argument's sake, just appoint all board members to all of the committees for November.
Or you could just, as Kurt said so excitedly and with great enthusiasm,
Not hold
just not
committees
have
in
November.
That's where
And then
we're
you don't
headed.
have to worry about the,
That's right.
and you don't have to worry about the November 24th meeting
Well,
that
that-
falls on the
next year
evening
would be
before a day.
Right.
different, because you were not.
Not
in
an election year.
But
It's a
just
problem
this-
with
just
election
this
year.
Just this year.
Right, we're
Right.
talking about this year.
That November date's next year.
Correct.
Yeah, this
Oh,
one here is
2026,
26.
gotcha. Jeez Louise,
So
all
that's,
right.
okay.
Well, still, Thanksgiving, it falls the week of Thanksgiving,
So,
right?
hence, why it's
think we're-
good to just,
I think we're reaching the witching hour.
I know, I'm starting to feel a little bit.
kind of at least I mean, let's see, what do we have? This is at, meeting calendar, discussion and possible action on the meeting calendar.
As it is, you're not gonna have committee. Well, you could, it's the week of Thanksgiving, it's 2 days before Thanksgiving, in November.
Now, oh, so it is
The
the Tuesday
25th.
night before the Wednesday
It's the
off.
Tuesday night before the Wednesday, which probably you're gonna have every
So
Thanksgiving.
we will have committees in September and October. I'm pretty sure we have them scheduled in December as well. Although I can't swear it without looking at the calendar. There's no rule in your bylaws that says how often committees have to meet. Committee meetings on the 23rd.
Of November?
No, December.
Oh, December
This year.
23rd.
Who thought that was a
Well,
good
that's
idea?
because, well, December's in the old, yeah,
That's terrible.
yeah, whoops. But that was adopted before. I mean, we can make, I would like to make a motion to accept the committee meetings on page 29 just as a template, so we don't lose ourselves in trying to figure out
As a
whether November
standby
meets or not.
until-
You know what I'm saying? As a standby, and let the new board decide to move it as they see fit.
Then they can change the date.
They can change their
They can
committee
change the
meetings,
people.
right?
If you do that though, are they not the regular standing meetings then, and they would have to all be posted as special meetings?
Well, that's it too.
I don't know that I would set them and change them. I would either set them and live with them,
Yeah,
or wait and do them, but I think
Okay.
once you set them,
right.
they're
Then
kind of set.
Any change is a special, and
That's why I
that's a
think we
nightmare.
should just
That
leave
is a
the
nightmare.
regular,
More
leave the
complicated.
regular
That is a
meetings.
nightmare.
Regular meetings stay
So-
the same.
Stay the same.
Regular meetings stay the same, committee meetings we have not passed.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll leave it at that.
20
All right.
minutes into that, and let's keep moving.
Tiffany, you've got all that? Okay, so then at
I
the
feel
next.
like we needed that though.
Oh, you do?
Did we,
Actually
Kurt?
gotta work
Did
it
we
out.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to page, item D.
No, we're
No,
on C.
Possible action, the custodial contract?
Okay. I'll do detail with custodial and maintenance, and then I'm gonna tell you that the executive and administrative assistant followed very closely, so I'll do that more quickly. Nancy has clean copies of both of these contracts here for Nora to sign, right?
Both you and Nora, yes.
Right, assuming if the board in fact passes this. So, the process went into mediation, because we were pretty far apart. It is, like contracts are typically a 3-year agreement. The wages are the first thing you'll see there. In year 1, people who are, everyone will have a 2.5 gross wage increase to their salary. In year 2, people who can take a step will take a step. And everyone will have 2.25?
General wage
Talking
increase?
about year 3 or year 2?
Year 2.
You're doing the secretary first or the
No.
custodian?
Custodian.
Sorry. So everybody gets 2.25, yes.
And what is
Plus
it?
the step.
What is a step
Yes.
in gender? What is
They're
a s-
asking
What are the
what
steps?
the step will provide
Yeah.
people.
What would the step provide people?
How much is the step increase?
It's
About.
approximately 4%.
So they get 2.25 plus the
But
4%?
There are some people already at top step.
About half of the
So
group.
we took that into account when we were doing the financials.
Mhm. So it's so year 2 plus the step is really 6.25 increase.
How many people we're talking on the custodial maintenance contract?
7.
Okay, so we're talking about 7 people in the district.
Do you have actual numbers, or?
Sure she does.
I'm sorry?
Do you have
I'm
actual
sure she does.
numbers to
It
the,
was a rhetorical question. They're not on our sheet.
Year 3, the people who can take a step, do take a step. The people who are on the top get 2.5 because they can't take a step.
so there's
2.5
no
top
general
step
wage
only.
increase to any step except the top?
Right.
Step movement only.
So either you
No.
take a step or you,
Oh, and step
So-
movement
So
only.
over the 3 years,
Yeah,
with the steps and the GWI
Yep.
and the current folks, it's a total of 10.77% increase over the 3-year period.
and what's that, like in total dollars?
I'm sorry, I did not bring that with me. I can certainly get that for you.
I'd like to see that before we include, okay, so,
But you also look at the health premiums and the dental
Right.
premiums, they went up. So any increase in, say, your GWI is gonna be eaten up by your health costs, your premium costs.
right. So currently, people in this group are contributing 15.5% to the cost of their health plan and their
Okay.
dental plan.
I
Those
see.
will go up to 16, then 17, then 17.5% in each of the 3 years of the contract. Most of the other things in here are probably not of great interest. The paid time off during the summer. In the summer, our custodian and maintenance folks can work 10-hour days. So they're still working the same number of hours, but they work, instead of 5 days of 8 hours, they do 4 days of 10 hours if they choose. A loophole with that was that the leave time, whether you took a vacation day or a sick day, wasn't matched with that, so you could use 1 sick day and take off a 10-hour day, so now it's 1.2 sick days or 1.2 vacation days. So that was really just one of those like math problems of when the train was gonna crash, but now it works.
How does this compare to other custodial maintenance contracts in the area, the DIRG, not the DIRG, sorry, contiguous area?
It's comparable.
We have 1 maintenance person, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, but we're a small district. We only
Yeah.
have 2 buildings.
Yeah. Okay. Other discussion?
Does this need to be voted on tonight?
Yeah. It goes into effect July 1, that passed already, so we should.
We have to make adjustments to their past paychecks.
Right, they're not getting paid at these rates yet.
Until it's approved by us.
I see.
They've gotten no raise since last year.
Yeah, I see. I was just wondering that. I wondered if we should wait till other members.
Can you give us a
Okay.
ballpark cost of the district at, 7 people at 10.77%? Or you don't want to go there?
I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean,
All right.
many districts were going for 12% over 3 years.
Yep.
So we were able to come in a skosh underneath
Sure.
that.
Sure. And then, again, the health and the dental premiums sort of eat up some of that.
I mean, they don't make that much money to
I know.
begin with, so we're
Right.
not talking
Yep.
big bucks.
Yep.
Oh, right, the percent on an hourly worked person who's not making a lot
How
per
much do
hour.
our custodians make? per hour?
It's tens of thousands of dollars over 3 years, we're not talking
Right,
hundreds
no,
of
no,
thousands.
but how
What
much,
is the hourly rate
what is
for
our hourly
custodians?
rate for custodians?
20.19 is what they're currently making, so they got a bit of a bump.
Yep.
$20
An hour, yep.
and 19 cents. Okay, all right. Any other discussion?
I don't think so.
Okay. I make a motion to accept the custodial maintenance due contract, given the highlights as presented on page 30. Have a second?
I'll second.
Jeanette, further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, that's 5-0, unanimous, thank you. Okay, now we'll move to the secretary's contract, item D.
Executive and administrative assistant. I'll just point out that we don't actually have any administrative assistants currently in the district. We're down to 3 executive assistants, right? Yes. So again, a 3-year contract. In year 1, it's 2.5 gross wage increase for everyone, no steps. Year 2, if you're on the top step, you get 3%. If you're not on top step, you don't get a gross wage increase, but you do take a step. And in year 3, it's 2.5 to the top step and step if you're not on top step. So years 2 and 3 are the same pattern, but 1 year is 3%, 1 year is 2.5%. Total package price, percent?
I'm sorry?
The percent for the 3 years together for the full contract?
Probably the same, right?
8.5%.
Yeah.
And that was driven largely because we have one person on the top step, which is step 6, and then we have 2 people on step 1. So it was little baby steps.
The health cost sharing is the same as we just talked about in the custodian's contract. The decreasing hours doesn't actually change the amount they're working, it just has to do with whether or not, how many of those hours have to be in the days immediately before the opening of school.
I still don't understand that though, what do you mean?
So I'm gonna try and do this the simplest way, because this
Okay.
contract is really weird. But
Mhm.
executive assistants work the school year, and then they work another 100 hours in the summer.
Okay.
So, of those 100 hours, I think like 6 days of it, I'm making that up, I think it's 6 days, have to be the 6 days immediately prior to the start of school.
Okay.
And then also, it used to say 35 more hours have to come immediately before that. So, working a 7-hour day, it meant that the secretaries were coming back on a Friday to work a Friday a week, and then, because we always start school on a Wednesday, the teachers come Monday, then Tuesday, so what this did was, it said 7 of these hours, the 35 to 28 meant you didn't have to work the Friday before the week, you still have to do those hours, but we're just not making you be there that particular day.
What does the hours break down to for the summer then? How many hours a week
So
are they
they're
working?
working 100 hours, but
Right.
it's spread out, it's like, I'll say
Right.
by appointment.
So
Like,
per week, how many hours is that?
well, there's roughly 8 weeks of summer.
Yep,
So,
okay.
let's say you take a couple weeks off, so maybe you work 6 of the weeks, or maybe some people take off longer, but if you work 6 weeks, 6 times
But they're taking that
16 hours would get you to the 100. So,
So it's
2
100
or 3
hours
days a
spread
week.
over 8 weeks?
Exactly.
Gotcha, that's what I was
and
getting to.
working with the principals, they set a schedule. Ideally, the principals want them there sort of a little bit, so that as registrations come in, they're opening them, entering them, and keeping us.
Gotcha.
The administrative assistants actually is 1 less workday, but we don't have anybody in that category, so that would benefit us if we did, in the sense that we would.
Was that written by this district in this manner, or is that normal,
The hours thing?
the whole thing? Executive assistant for 4 days, or
Yeah,
whatever you were talking about?
It's ours. there's no like stock secretary contract or anything at this.
Okay,
It's
so
our
we're
brand
going
of
by
crazy.
what was
This is our
previously
brand of
done.
crazy.
Right, so we don't make we don't do like a new contract when we do a new contract. We take the existing contract and each group makes a proposal for ways you would like to change it.
Okay, so
So the
it
bulk of it
works.
remains the same.
Okay, but it works for our district.
Yep.
Okay.
Right, and when it doesn't work, we try to change it. Like, we tried to negotiate to lengthen the executive assistant's day by 15 minutes. We would pay them, their hourly employees, they got paid for it, but they're not quite there the entire time we need them, from like when the doors open till the kids get on the buses. But we couldn't get them to bite for that, so.
So the 8.5% is affecting, it's 3 people.
Yep.
Okay. And then,
It's less than $10,000, I can tell you that.
yeah. Okay,
You know this district, Nancy. This district.
okay, I make a motion to accept the executive and administrative contract highlights as given on page 31.
Second.
That's Kurt. Okay, all in favor? That's 5-0. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, item E, discussion of possible action of proceeding with the planning of a roof project for Pearson, just to give it the further forward motion to move ahead, that we're giving it, I call it the blessing, but the process to move it forward and to give the signal to the community that the roof is gonna go forward.
Yes.
You had a better phrase for that.
Yeah, so this, as Nora said, really is just about a blessing, make sure the board has an appetite to pursue this. It's not actually committing the town to anything, because ultimately, to do a roof project, it will undoubtedly require a referendum on the part of the town to allocate the money, even though a lot of it will come back through reimbursement. Our rate is 70% right now, so really what this is just looking everyone in the eye and saying, yes, we want to make it stop raining in Pearson School.
Right, well, we need to do that, right? Whatever happened, because I know there's a bunch of comments about the roof at the last meeting, and some of it was incorrect, but I know that we had that whole solar thing that we were all set to move forward with, and then we kind of got stopped in the tracks, but that was gonna pay for the Pearson roof. Where are we with that, with the town manager?
So solar, first of all, is a little bit off the table. The incentives for it seem to have dried up. But even before that, like the reason, and again, this is way before my time, but my understanding is when we got close to the finish line, the numbers weren't gelling.
Correct.
Like the solar company was a little bit selling us something that sounded lovely. What do they say? If
Right.
it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And we weren't actually getting a free roof. We were like financing it through the solar company.
Right, okay.
You're defraying the cost a little bit with the benefit from the solar, but it wasn't actually paying for it.
And they were basing it off of incorrect electric rates.
Right.
Right.
So solar is not 100% off the table. Before we ever get to a place where we're actually doing a project, everything will get a look, but it doesn't seem to be a front runner based on my
Right.
watching the process unfold. So what we do know is that it turns out, much like your home, you can have 2 roofs, 2 layers. We have 1. So potentially we may be able to put a roof over rather than rip it up. If we can do that, that's a great cost savings. We know that based on the $250 we've spent so far to get the first test. The next level of test that the person that Troy Lemire sent our way, who turned out to be a great guy and he's been very helpful, would cost about $5,000. The town allocated, I don't recall off the top of my head if it was 40,000 or somewhere between 40 and 50,000 for exploration of the roof project to like start, because you need startup money to get enough information to get bids. So the Garland Company is recommending that we do what's called a moisture test. It might have had a more fancy name that I'm forgetting, but which basically they check what it's like under that first level of roof to see if your insulation is dry. If it's too wet, you can't put a second one off. You've got to rip it off. Jeanette, you know about this, I can tell.
A little bit.
Good.
We talked about this
We're
too
gonna need
at our last meeting.
lots of people who know about these things. So the moisture test is good for about a year. one of Paul's worries was if we have one guy do it, is the next guy
Right.
gonna come out and say it's not valid? This guy
Right,
said
they
the
have to
test
do it
is good
again.
for up to a year. You know, after a certain amount of time, you have to redo it because it could have gotten moist. The other thing he's recommending is that we do an asbestos test and just find out, because you're gonna have to do it at some point. Better to know when you're going out to bid, are you going, you know, he says these two tests will tell you what you're ultimately gonna need to go to bid for. Are you doing a second roof, or are you doing a rip up? And are you abating asbestos or not? So,
That would be bad.
getting those two, he suggests those are the two things you ought to do next. And then the answers to those will allow companies to legitimately bid your project with realistic bids.
Okay.
So if the board has an appetite, I'll go back to Paul and talk further. and
Yes, please.
It's the town's building, and Kurt's like, stop talking.
So I think we make a motion to direct Julie to work with Paul, the town manager, to move forward on the project.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Tiffany, okay on that one?
Remember, we're making a movie, she can always go back.
Okay, all right, all in favor? All right, 5-0, so we're directing Julie to move ahead. Thank you, everyone. Public comment. Anybody wishing to speak? Any wishing to speak? Anyone? Okay, thank you.
We wore everyone
Moving
out.
on, do I have a motion to adjourn at 9:28 PM?
I make that motion.
Sandra? Okay, Jeanette? Thank you, all in favor? 5-0, thank you, everybody.
What did we forget?
Have a good
Jonathan didn't get the opportunity to second.